Good evening, everyone, and happy International Women's Day. I'm super excited to have our special guest here today. She really embodies everything about International Women's Day, really empowering Latinas and fellow women to start their own business. So I'm super excited to be here and welcome Ashley K. Stoyanov Ojeda. And I hope I got your name correctly.
That was perfect.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
She is the author of the recently released Jefa in Training book. So I have, first of all, I just want to say, I read this and I have highlighted so many different pages. And I just want to say that it is beautifully done. And it's just a beautiful book in general. And the information was so, I was like, why didn't I have this like 10 years, 15 years ago when I started Modern Latina? Because everything is so helpful. So we're going to get into all that. But before we do, I want to just tell you a little bit about our special guest today. Ashley is an author, a business development coach, and a socialpreneur. She's originally from Queens, New York City, and was born to a Mexican mom and a French-American father. Her career started in the music industry in 2012, working at major record labels, publishers, and venues. After relocating to Portland, Oregon, post-college, she created her own network for local Womxn songwriters, now a nationally organization that's been featured in the Recording Academy called Women Crush Music. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Since the rapid growth of her organization, she has dedicated her career to creating opportunities and developing business and communities of underrepresented entrepreneurs through her coaching, consulting, and has fondly been known as the business Fairygodmother. So we're going to talk about that too, and you can share that and share your journey with us. She's also joined the Mujerista team in 2020 to help create and grow the digital network dedicated to empowering and celebrating the next generation of Latinas making an impact in la cultura. Please welcome Ashley. Thank you so much for being here today. You have had a busy day. I was saying that I was scrolling IG. You had an IG live. You just told me you were celebrating with your mom being on Telemundo.
Yes.
So congratulations and all the success that you've had, and much deserved. As I was saying, that this book is amazing. Like I said, I was highlighting things, and even as someone who has had my own business, I was like, man, I need to go back and do that. Like, I feel like it's just a really great roadmap and something you can refer back to wherever you are in your entrepreneurial journey. So I just want to talk about, first question, what inspired you to write Jefa in Training?
Well, thank you first for having me, and also thank you for saying all those nice things about the book. I was inspired to write Jefa in Training because of a few things. Number one is my own experience building my nonprofit organization, which was my first venture outside of the typical 9-to-5. I started my nonprofit and I had no idea what I was doing. And so it grew actually quite quickly. You know, I started it on my own, and then within a year, we were doing events in 16 international cities with over 50 volunteers and a community of over 10,000 people, which sounds amazing and exciting, and it was. But at that time, the only thing I really knew how to do, because it's what I studied in school and what I had worked in, was PR. So I started in PR and community marketing. And so, of course, it grew quickly because that's all I was doing. It was just promoting and promoting and promoting and promoting. But around year 2 or 3, somewhere in between then, we kind of hit a wall because we grew more than what I could actually handle, because I had never actually set up a proper foundation for the organization. And so what happened then is that I realized, like, oh crap, you know, all this press is great, all of this community, you know, growth is great, but we had no financial plan, no strategic plan, nothing like that to be able to sustain us in the long term. And so I had to pause, put everything on hold, and completely revamp everything, and was still learning in the process. But at that point, I was just like, man, wouldn't it be cool to have a book that showed all of these roadmap foundational things that you should do while you're building your business. And I looked to every business book under the sun while I was building this thing. I read all the Girl Boss, Girl Code, all of it. And some of them were great. Some of them were just not really what I was looking for. And most of all, I think I felt the lack of representation by the authors that I was reading resources from. Most of these books are written by wealthy white people, and like, good for them, but it's not as easy as my dad gave me $1 million and you can start a business too. It's easy. It doesn't work that way for most of us. And so that's kind of when I thought like, oh, it would be cool to do something like this one day. Let me start looking into what it takes to write a book, maybe get an agent. I started pitching some agents and publishers, got a lot of rejections, and then tabled the project for a little bit. And that was towards the end of 2019. And then 2020 happened, COVID happened, life happened, and I got busy with other projects. So like I said, I put it on the back burner for a little bit. At that same time, I started working with TheMujerista, which is another digital publication for Latinas with an amazing community of over 60,000 people. And the founder, Maribet, asked me to help her create the online community portion for the Mujerista. And I was just like, of course, yes, this sounds like an amazing opportunity. Let's do this together. And so we did it. And while we were creating it and putting on these monthly events and sharing resources with this community that we were building, I talked to a lot of Latina entrepreneurs and then kind of became their Business Hada Madrina, which I'm sure we'll touch more on later on, and started coaching a lot of them to help them grow their projects. And I realized that they felt the same way. I would ask them like, how do you get your information about business? What kind of books do you read? What kind of podcasts do you listen to? And all of them answered kind of the same. Well, like, either we don't know, or we read this, but like we were still looking for something else, kind of thing. And that's when it hit me again. I was just like, okay, something needs to happen here, and I think I need to be the one to do it. Fast forward to like 6 months from then, and I accidentally met an editor for my now publisher, and we were chatting. I had no idea who she was, what she did for a living. And then she was just like, hey, I really like your energy and what you're doing. Do you want to write a book, or are you working on a book? And I was just like, yes. Yes, I do want to write a book, and I am working on one. And so of course I stayed up that whole night writing the proposal and putting it together, and just kind of really like focusing on what I'd learned from the Mujerista community and my clients and my previous experiences, and the feeling that I wanted to give people when they read the book. And now it's here, and now it's real life.
And congratulations. And I think that's so amazing that all of your preparations aligned. Like, so when that opportunity came up, you had all that experience and everything. You had already been thinking about it, already like researching it. So I think there's a lot to be said, but when the opportunities come, we have to like take a chance and get out of our comfort zone and go for it, right? Mm-hmm. So congratulations on that. I wanted to talk to you about your book and how you made it into like a roadmap that can be followed step by step, but also the way you have wrote it is conversational. Like if you're talking to someone, and I think, and you say that you wanted to do that. And I just want to say to you that I felt like I was talking to you. I felt that the snippets, the short stories, your interviews that you injected in at every point was like, oh, wow, this is great. I have this also, not only Ashley, but I have someone who's been in the industry, or someone who has their experience that they're sharing with me. And so some of the, just to name a few, because you have so many people that, successful Latinas that you're interviewing, but we have, Ana Flores from We All Grow Latina, Julissa from Rizos Curls, Lila Miller from Bonita Semana. So these are just to name a few of them. And I was just curious, from all the interviews that you had with them, was there a common thread that you found hearing their stories while you were interviewing them?
I think that the common thread is that we all felt like a book like this needed to exist because we all felt or feel still underrepresented in whatever industries we're in. And we all also feel like now is the time for us. You know, there are so many Latinas starting businesses right now. We're actually starting businesses faster than any demographic. The VC funding needs to catch up for sure. We're not getting funding like everyone else is, but you know, we are starting something, and that's pretty amazing.
One of the chapters that really moved me and got me thinking, and something that I even shared was a quote today, was, you know, ser diferente es ser fuerte. And so, you know, you talk about that through our differences, we can find our strengths. And these strengths are also part of our unique selling proposition as part of our business, who we are. And I wanted you to just expand a little bit more on that concept, and then share on your own experience how your Latinidad has played an instrumental role in your success and in your journey as well.
Definitely. That's my favorite chapter, if I could choose a favorite, which is hard because the whole thing is my child. But I think I really wanted to make it a point to say that a lot of us I think we grow up thinking that being different is a bad thing. You know, like when we're in school, we get bullied because we look a certain way, or maybe some of us had an accent, or maybe some of our parents had accents, and we feel very out of place sometimes, and we do a lot to be able to fit in. That's not true, right? Being different is not a bad thing. And actually, in business and in life, being different is actually a very good thing, you know? And I think a lot of times when the hesitation of like, why don't you start a business? Oh, well, I had this idea, but everyone else is doing it already. That's not true. And that's never going to be true, because no one is ever going to be able to start the same business as you, ever. No one has the same exact experiences as you. No one processes these experiences as you. No one has the same exact knowledge as you, and you are bringing all of that to the table the moment that you decide to start your business. And I think that more people need to realize that, you know, these things that they might see as different. Oh, well, I'm an immigrant. Okay, so you have this experience of being an immigrant in America, which like naturally just makes you resilient and brave, and you're bringing new ideas because you come from somewhere else. Like use that. It's not a bad thing. Use it, and you're going to see how you stand out from your competitors. For me, my experience being Latina is that I grew up going to Mexico every summer for months at a time. My mom made it a point to bring my brother and I to spend time with the family, because my mom's one of 8. So I have a very, very large family down there. And then, you know, there's the primos of the primos of the primos. There's a lot of us, and we're everywhere. And that particularly has shaped me, because Mexicans are very hospitable. And, you know, with my family, it's like, oh, the first time meeting you, okay, sit down. What do you want to eat? You know, we're just very inviting, and we treat everyone like family. And that's something that I've tried to bring into my business, and that I feel like I bring into my business. And the first time that I'm speaking with someone, I speak to them like I've known them for 20 years, because I want them to feel comfortable and like they belong in my circle. Because at the end of the day, like I'm just trying to create community and create opportunities for more individuals like myself and like you. And so I feel like that going to Mexico and experiencing that has influenced me in a lot of ways. And that's definitely one of them. If I had not had those experiences and not interacted with my Mexican family at all, I could be a completely different person. I grew up in New York City where no one gives two craps about you. So I definitely think that it has had an effect on me.
Well, this is a perfect segue to my next question. You know, you talked about community, and I think as Latinas, we do embrace our community and we help one another. And And I wanted to just ask the question, through launching your nonprofit and working with other Latina entrepreneurs, you have that experience of building networks, and that's vital to the success of a small business. I wanted you to just share a little bit about the importance of building a community for a success of a small business, and then some advice to get started building a community for those who might be like, well, I don't know where to begin. What can they do to start that?
Definitely. So funny that you were asking this, because I was just working on a community marketing strategy for one of my clients a little bit ago. So
Fresh on your mind.
yes, I mean, so I think that community marketing, also people call it relationship marketing, right? Is exactly that, right? It's just the act of building a relationship with the people who are buying from you, the people you want to buy from you, everyone who is following you. And you can build a community on social media. You can have your own community platform, in so many different ways. The first tip that I would say is figure out how exactly you want to create that community. For a lot of brands and small businesses right now, it is through constant communication through social media and newsletters. If you want to add that additional component of having like a Slack community or a Mighty Networks or some kind of community platform off of social media, which is what the Mujerista does. We have a Mighty Networks platform that makes it a little bit easier to promote all of the events that we do and share resources and conversation threads and things like that. But kind of decide how you want to do that, and then you can explore the options and the possibilities of what kind of content and how you're going to engage your community. And I think a lot of people, when they think about building their community, they're just like, okay, we need more followers, more members, more this. Like they just think growth. Great. But I think also a lot of people forget about retention, and not only attracting new customers, but also continuing to engage with the people who are already paying attention to you and who are already buying from you. Because especially when you're first starting out, those are going to be your VIPs. The people who are already buying from you are going to be part of this VIP, ambassadors, core community, whatever you want to call them. They're the ones that are going to be searching for your next release, your next product, your next service. They're the ones that are going to be telling their friends, leaving reviews, posting on social media about you. You want to care about those people, and you want to make sure that they know that you appreciate them. And those are the two very important things, is the where and the how, and then everything else you will figure out afterwards. For some brands, for some small businesses, it's just doing events, inviting your community to see kind of who is behind the business. For some brands, it's a loyalty program. Like, don't knock those. They're very impactful. For some, it's creating an affiliate program. Do you have a lot of influencers in your community? Cool, use them. There are so many different options. I explain more of them in the book. If you want to look at some like influences that I think are doing a really good job, Parade, which is the sustainable, they start as a sustainable underwear brand, also Latina founded. I'm obsessed with them, but I think they do their community marketing super well. Reina Rebelde, which is a cosmetics brand funded by Latinas, their ambassador program I think is on point. So if you need some inspiration, that's where you can start.
Yeah, no, and I think your book is full of inspiration, because like you said, you do provide those real life examples, and you even like talk through it, because I think I remember reading, in the book, it was saying like hone in, like you might be like, oh, I'm going to go women 18 to 45, but then maybe you need to scale back, and maybe you have to choose, the right social media channel, because maybe if you're going after 45, maybe they're not going to be on certain channels, right? So I think that you do such a great job walking through that process with the reader, and so they get an idea, and if they're not familiar with all the different channels, or even put some research in there, some different items. So I think that's pick up the book because you'll get more information. So on the flip side, we talked about building a community, and I think that's so important, no matter, even just an internal, like, supportive community around you, whether it's like, having someone to bounce ideas off of, you want supportive people around you. And so I just wanted to get your advice on the flip side, as someone who's starting a new business, how can they kind of go, combat those obstacles they might get, whether it's the naysayers that are saying, oh, yeah, you're going to be able to do that. Or maybe they're like waiting till everything's perfect and they just don't have, something comes up and they just feel all these challenges and they're just not ready to press that green button to hit go. What would you say to them?
I think going back to why you're doing all of this is super, super important. Like, for example, for the perfectionists out there, right, really afraid and terrified of launching their website because the banner in the back is supposed to be green and it's currently blue. Do you actually think that your community is going to care if your banner is not green and it is blue? Probably not. You are probably the only one that is noticing that right now, and just letting go of the little things, because at the end of the day, it's the mission, right? It's the mission that people are going to connect with. And if you're putting out good content and good products and good services, and you're bringing people along the journey with you, it's going to resonate. And in the book there's a lessons learned section where I asked some of my collaborators to share kind of like their tips and tricks for the future generation of entrepreneurs. And it's Maribet, the founder of the Mujerista, who said that she is actually a perfectionist. And
that's the story I remember.
I can tell you, because I work with her. Sometimes I have to be like, Mari, I gotta have to like shake her a little bit. I'm like, they don't care about that. And that's why we make such a good team, because there is such a good balance between us. So like you said, having an internal supportive community, someone to bounce ideas off of. If you know that you're a perfectionist, find someone like me who is not, and just like have them be your person. Yes. Because we all need that balance. I'm the opposite. And like, God bless my team for putting up with me, but like, I'm the kind of person who is just like, all right, let's just get it all out there. All right, but done with this project. Like, I just finished my book. Okay, let's, what else are we doing? Second book, retreat, classes, this, that. And like, a perfectionist would be terrified to go in that direction, but I am just like a go kind of person. And there's a balance. There's a balance that needs to be found. And I would say just listen to your gut and stick with your mission and connect with your why, and you will be okay.
You have a beautiful quote in the book, which I love. It says, your why is the power behind your business. Your purpose is what is going to help build your product, what will fuel your marketing, and what will motivate people to help you grow. Whatever it is, it will be the foundation upon which you will build what you end up being your business's mission. So you also talk about, how the why, you circle back. So in business, we have to pivot, whether you're in the stage of launching it or you're reinventing yourself, you always talk about going back to that. And can you just go into a little bit more about why that is the core of the foundation of one's small business?
I'm going to use my nonprofit as an example. For reference, Woman Crush Music is a nonprofit that used to hold ongoing live music events to create community within the chapters. COVID hit. We obviously could not do that anymore. We, of course, did the virtual events thing for a while, then everyone got Zoom fatigued, and it just wasn't worth it. It was burning out our team. Like, the funders were losing their funding, and like it wasn't sustainable anymore. So we took a pause, and we're actually going to be announcing something later this month about what we're doing now. But without giving it away, what I had to do as the founder was reconnect with our why, which was that we wanted to create opportunities for these songwriters in our community. And what does everyone need right now? They don't need to do more virtual showcases. They don't. They need money. At the end of the day, they need money, or they need connection to resources that can give them money, because what a lot of people don't know is that songwriters don't make money if they're not playing shows. They get pennies, barely pennies, for music streaming. You know, they can't sell merch on tour because there's no touring, and they just need money or connections to people who can give them those resources. And we took that information that we asked the community about, and that's how we're coming back with a bang in this new kind of COVID, kind of not era, where the future of live music is so uncertain. And I think always being in tune with what your community needs is going to get you very far. Without our community, we don't have a business. You know, if we're not feeling in touch with them and knowing what they want and knowing what they need, especially since that's going to change often. I mean, look at how much the world has changed in the last 2 years.
Right.
Like, if we're not in tune with what our community needs and where they're hanging out online, or, you know, it goes back to the social media thing, like, where are they hanging out online? What accounts are they following? Like, what are they Googling? What do they need help with? What are they looking for in their daily lives that they don't have and that we can provide? You know, thinking about all of those things, like, that connects to your why, and you know, that's going to help 100%.
Yes. But I just, you know, that quote was just so, it just put a little bow on it. I was like, yes, this is exactly. And I think to revisit that why, like you said, no matter what point, and probably just even continuously, like you said, check with your community. Love that. So looking back, you know, you shared your experience with your nonprofit, and, you know, and also you've had, you know, corporate, even, you know, with Yelp and other positions, and your own entrepreneurship journey. What are some things, like the top 3 things you wish you would have known, or someone could have told you, and what are those and why? And I guess I would have said, oh, get this book. I wish I would have had this book, right? That would be number one of them. But, you know, tell me about, you know, some things that come to your mind that you wish, looking back, you would have known, or you can share, you know, as people start this process.
I'll give you my top 3, and then I'll explain. Money's not bad. Taking a break is also not bad. And asking for help is also not bad. Those are the top 3 things. The money's not bad thing. I grew up with very, very horrible money mindset, thinking that people who had money were horrible because of XYZ experiences with people with money. I came to that conclusion in my head. Through a lot of healing and research. And if you're interested in hearing about it, I was just on a podcast called the Navit Podcast and talked all about my money mindset journey. But I won't give you all the details right now because we'll be here forever. but basically, I came to the conclusion that now, with the more money that I have, the more impact I'm able to create on the people that I want to help. And I wish that someone had explained that to me very early on, so that I wasn't so afraid of creating financial plans. You know, for a daughter of an accountant, I was really terrified of numbers and money for the longest time.
I don't think you're the only one. I think I would say that, you know, I'm kind of like, which is nice. You have a whole chapter 2 on that, you know, section, because I kind of get scared and it intimidates me a little sometimes. So,
I I was just on an Instagram live with Alejandra, who is the founder of Cadena Collective, and we were talking about how a lot of, this isn't my experience, but it was hers, that a lot of Latinas and first gen are like money and legal traumatized, but because we have to translate important documents for our parents. And so we kind of just go into like instant panic mode whenever these topics come up, because we like have all these like memories of like having to do this to help our families, and just all this pressure that comes with being a first gen sometimes. Anyway, topic for another day. But yeah, money is not bad, period. You need money to be able to like sustain your business and also sustain your life.
Yes.
Period. Second thing, asking for help is not bad. I was under the impression that if I didn't know how to do something and I asked for help, that people would look at me like I was a failure. And so what did that do? It stunted our growth 100%, because instead of just looking for a mentor, outsourcing or whatever, I tried to do everything on my own, but I'm not Superwoman. No one is. And so we need help. We need help. You know, I was trying to manage 16 international chapters by myself. And it wasn't until someone in the community came to me and she was like, it seems like you need help. Can I help you? And I was just like, yeah, probably. It's probably not a bad idea. If she hadn't come to me, I do wonder if I had actually would have seeked out help at that point. I don't think so, though.
Right. Oh my goodness.
I don't think so. And so the next thing is kind of piggybacks off of that, is taking a break is sometimes very necessary. I am probably a master of burning myself out, which is something that I'm actively working on right now, is just finding a balance between work and life. And again, like I just had this mentality of like, if I'm not working on this all the time, that means I'm not working hard enough. And I don't know if it's because I'm from New York, because I'm a Capricorn, because I'm just a workaholic. I don't know the reason, but I've just always been very, very go, go, go all the time. And I can honestly tell you, I don't know if I know how to take a break. I'm learning right now, but it got so bad that I would take 2 weeks off and feel anxiety because I was on vacation.
Yes.
There was literally a time where I was in the hospital answering emails from a hospital bed. Yeah. Why? Why? Yeah. You know? And so I wish that I could like tell my younger self, like, hey, it's not worth it. Like, thankfully you're not a surgeon, and if you save an email to answer tomorrow, like it's okay. Like your clients, your work will still be there in the morning and you will be fine. You know, you don't have to feel bad for not being available all the time. And people understand that. And I was actually on an Instagram live yesterday with Angeli from Manifest House and Kat Langtiwa, who had Goddess Council. They're both self-care advocates and mental health advocates, and just overall inspiring wellness advocates. And we had a conversation about this and how a lot of us experience burnout because we just don't know how to make time for ourselves, because we care so much about our communities that we just pour out all of our energy to help them, and we don't leave any for ourselves.
Oh my gosh, that is so true. I'm guilty of that. And especially, you know, I mean, yes, we have to take the time. And I think you touch upon that too, you know, in the book as well. So, but it's so critical. And I think in all the scenarios, you know, the two that you said, I think that when you don't ask for help and you don't take that time for yourself, it kind of impedes your growth of your small business, because had you not gotten that help, you probably wouldn't have been able to grow and do more, right? And then if you don't take care of yourself, then your business will suffer too. So it's all interrelated for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. That's great. I love that. So I wanted to just find out, if you have, as we're wrapping up, this conversation, which I've loved so much, and hopefully everyone who's tuning in is loving it just as much as I am. I want to find out, for anyone who is kind of on the fence about starting a business, what motivational advice would you give to them to kind of get them going in the right direction?
You're not alone. Like, I think that's the other thing I wish someone would have told me. I felt like I had to do everything by myself. And especially now, there are so many online communities for Latinas, for freelancers, for, founders who are starting startups. Like, there are so many online communities that, I'm happy to share. There's actually some Jefa training bonus material that has a list of organizations that you can join if you're in this boat, that I can send you, Linda. You can send out to your community if you'd like. But the Mujerista Network is one of them. We All Grow is another one. Own Trail is another one. The Latinistas is also another one. There are so many amazing communities out there that have a support system for you, that you can meet with your future mentor or a coach. And I'm putting myself in this hat here. If you need help, please ask me. And if I can't help you, I will find someone that can help you. I'm the kind of person who will never say no to you. I will be like, well, I can't help you, but look up blah blah blah, or talk to blah blah blah, I connect you. Like, I try to be like that, which is why people call me the Business Hada Madrina, because I'm just the connector and magic maker of the Latina community.
I love that. No, and as we look to connect, I want to make sure that everyone here knows where to find you, like your social handles, and then where they can get the book as well.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's a little long, but it's at Ashley K. Stoyanov Ojeda on Instagram and LinkedIn. My email is ashleyk.stoyanov@gmail.com. If you go to my Instagram bio, all of the links are there. The book is available on Amazon, Bookshop, if you want to support your indie bookstores, Target, Barnes and Noble, everywhere, really. But super quick shout out. I just released a candle and book bundle with my client, Bonita Fierce Candles, another Latina owned small business. She made a Jefa training candle, which is grapefruit mimosa inspired. So it's amazing. So if you already have your book and you can prove that you purchased it, or you want to buy another one for a friend, Linda, you can purchase the bundle on my website. We've got that going until for the next few weeks, or until we sell out, because we only have a limited amount. But yes, I want the book to be like a whole experience. You light your candle on a self-care Sunday, you read your book, and then you're good to go for the rest of the week.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that collab. That's awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Having this conversation on International Women's Day just made it even more special, just because what you're doing, what you put out in the universe, how you're helping other, women entrepreneurs, start their businesses and continue the cycle of giving out and, giving out that positivity. And just thank you so much. And for everyone joining, if you enjoyed this conversation, please be sure to follow Modern Latina, and I'll be posting everything, all the links, some of the links you're going to send me so that we can have it on the website. And then of course, just follow Modern Latina on our social media channels on Instagram. But again, Ashley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.